They are playing innocent. But Archangel Michael saw their shadow linger too long. It wasn't just your imagination. A strange stillness fell at 2:03 a.m. last night. Heaven paused. The clocks didn't skip, but something divine interrupted the rhythm of the earth. The angels ceased their flight, and the watchers turned their full gaze to a moment that wasn't measured in minutes, but in meaning. It wasn't the kind of silence that soothes, it was the silence that signals revelation. The veil thinned just enough for spirit to meet spirit, and it was then that Archangel Michael stepped forward. He didn't come with trumpet blasts or thunder. No, he came with clarity. With sword in sheath, he stood still, watching, waiting, revealing. You felt it. Maybe you don't even have the words to describe it, but deep within your spirit, something moved. The air was too heavy for that hour. The dream was too vivid. The presence was too real. It wasn't just your imagination. Heaven saw it too. Heaven saw them too. The one who smiled at you that day, the one who laughed as if nothing was hidden, their shadow lingered longer than their smile. They were playing innocent, but they underestimated the eyes of heaven. Archangel Michael did not blink. This message will not ring true for all. In fact, it will sound like madness to the proud, like fantasy to the blind, but to the discerning, this is confirmation. To the spiritually sensitive, this is the echo of what they already knew. This message is not a warning to the world. It's a whisper to the watchmen. It's a voice to the chosen. You saw something behind the words. You felt something behind the smile. You noticed the glitch in their energy, the spiritual hesitation. That was not paranoia, that was prophecy brushing up against deception. And now, the truth is unraveling. You are not losing your mind. You are gaining your spiritual sight. You're not imagining things. You're interpreting signals. The shift you felt was not emotional instability. It was divine insight beginning to awaken. There's a reason you've been uneasy. There's a reason you've withdrawn. You were being positioned. You were being prepared. The Spirit have been interrupting your sleep and silencing your desire to speak. Not because you're weak, but because you are being taught to war in stillness. Before sunrise, stay still. Do not move in haste. Do not engage in arguments that were never meant to reach your lips. Your stillness is sacred right now. Your silence is not a weakness. It is a code, a command, a cloak. Less you say, the more heaven speaks. You're not being ignored. You're being insulated. Because what's about to be revealed needs a spirit that can watch without flinching, wait without fearing, and war without screaming. They pretended to be pure, but their presence betrayed them. And the angel who defends you saw it all. Archangel Michael was dispatched the moment they thought no one was watching. Now, what has been hidden in shadows will be measured by heaven's light. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. In the name of truth and the authority of light, Archangel Michael now enters this moment, not as a quiet observer, but as a divine warrior summoned by the weight of hidden deception. This is not just a message, it is an invocation, a spiritual summoning wrapped in urgency. Within the next 24 hours, something shifts. Within the next 24 hours, eyes will open, not natural eyes, but the eyes of the soul, the windows of the discerning spirit. This message comes as a holy interruption. This message comes because heaven broke its silence for you. This isn't the kind of call that can be explained to everyone. This isn't a sermon for the spiritually asleep. This is not for those who scroll for entertainment or for those who mock the mysterious. This is for the anointed. This is for the ones who have felt something simmering beneath the surface. This is for the spiritually sensitive who can't explain why they're uneasy around someone who seems so kind. This is for those who felt a divine pause at 2:03 a.m. and knew without a doubt something from the spirit realm just leaned in close. If you're still watching, it's because your soul has been called to attention. If you feel your skin tighten and your eyes narrow even now, it's because your discernment is responding to divine confirmation. Archangel Michael does not move without cause. He does not draw his sword over rumors or speculations. He is heaven's military commander, the chief defender of the righteous. And when he steps forward, it's because something or someone is interfering with your divine path. Something has tried to veil itself in kindness, but heaven saw through the mask. That interruption you felt in the room, that sudden stillness, that unusual tension, it wasn't random. It was the moment the veil slipped. It was the moment your spirit caught the truth before your mind could form the words. Understand this. There is a holy disruption happening. Do not try to normalize what was meant to awaken you. Do not force yourself to explain what heaven intended to expose. You are not being dramatic. You are being activated. There's a reason heaven interrupted your rest. Here's a reason Michael has arrived. The Spirit of the Lord is stirring his watchmen. The anointed are being summoned from sleep, not physical sleep, but spiritual passivity. This is the hour to awaken. This is the hour to discern. The smile looked real. The laugh sounded normal. But their shadow lingered. And shadows never lie. The darkness that clings behind someone when the light hits them, what it reveals is often more powerful than what their face expresses. And heaven saw it. Heaven recorded it. You didn't imagine that shift in their eyes. You didn't mishear the tone. It shifted ever so slightly. You didn't invent the discomfort you felt after you left the room. That was your spirit knowing what your mind was too kind to acknowledge. And now heaven moves. And now Archangel Michael, sword of truth in hand, positions himself in front of you, not because you are weak, but because your calling is worth defending. He stands not because you are under attack, but because your destiny is being watched. This moment is a wake-up call. This is the confirmation you prayed for. When you asked God to show you the truth, you were not expecting this level of awareness, this intensity of insight, this uncomfortable knowing. But truth never comes with comfort. It comes with clarity. And clarity is what Michael brings. So receive this as more than words. Receive this as a spiritual summons. Within 24 hours, you will begin to see. The tension will clarify. The smile will falter. The presence will change. Something will be said, or left unsaid, that opens your spirit like lightning cracks the night sky. Don't argue. Don't over-explain. Just observe. Just remember, this is not paranoia. This is not projection. This is prophecy. Because not everyone who claims innocence is innocent. And not everyone who appears gentle is unarmed. But the weapons of the enemy are seen in the spirit first. And you, beloved, are spiritually awake. Your dreams have been different. Your peace has been disturbed. That's not fear, it's divine intel. That's not overthinking, it's spiritual revelation. Archangel Michael is here. His sword is drawn, not to punish but to protect. His stance is not to attack but to shield. But understand this clearly. You are not alone. You are not exposed. You are not left to figure this out on your own. Heaven has surrounded you. Angels have encamped around your home, round your soul, round your assignment. And now, a veil has been lifted. The silence has been broken. And the spiritually sensitive, the anointed ones, are being told, watch, listen, be still. Heaven is revealing what flesh cannot conceal. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 just surrounded your next 7 days. They smiled, but their shadow hesitated too long. Their mouth moved with practiced ease, but something in their presence betrayed a lingering contradiction. You couldn't explain it in the moment, but now it won't leave you alone. Something is gnawing at the edge of your memory, whispering that wasn't right. And you're not wrong to feel it. You're not being overly sensitive. This isn't emotional instability, it's spiritual alertness. Heaven has disrupted your peace not to punish you, but to position you. That strange sensation wasn't random. That hesitation you saw. That silence before they responded. That flicker of something, fear, guilt, mockery, or malice, crossing their face before the mask snapped back into place. That was your confirmation. There is a war between appearance and truth, and your spirit is caught in the crossfire. They are playing innocent. They've learned how to mimic light, how to echo just enough spiritual language, how to appear safe. But their shadow told the truth before their words did. And you noticed. Even if you tried to dismiss it, even if you second-guessed yourself, even if others did understand your discomfort, your spirit never forgot. It kept ringing. It kept repeating, something is off. The whispers behind closed doors were louder in the spirit than any words ever spoken. The silent watchers, the ones who never say much, but always seem to linger, have started showing up more often. Their presence feels calculated. Their questions feel loaded. And you wonder, why am I so tense around them? That's not paranoia. That's discernment activated. When your soul tenses and your spirit contracts, heaven is alerting you that you stepped into a deceptive atmosphere. You must understand, chosen one, deception rarely wears horns. It doesn't always yell. It doesn't always fight. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it flatters. Sometimes it asks you how you're doing, while secretly monitoring your progress and plotting your delay. That odd behavior you noticed, the sudden interest in your spiritual growth, the overcompensating compliments, the glances that feel just a bit too calculating. It's not imagination. It's the Holy Spirit pointing at the mask and waiting for you to stop pretending it isn't there. They hesitated. Their energy skipped, and your spirit caught it. This is how heaven trains its watchmen. This is how Michael trains warriors, not through obvious signs, but through the art of spiritual attention. You were given eyes to see beneath the surface. You were granted a radar that doesn't rely on logic. You were born with spiritual perception so sharp that even when someone's words were perfect, your spirit screamed, lies. They are playing innocent. But your atmosphere reacts differently now. The deeper you go in God, the more allergic you become to manipulation. The more time you spend in stillness, the more chaos becomes visible. That's why you felt disturbed. That's why your peace disappeared for no apparent reason when they entered the room. That's why you've been unsettled ever since that last conversation. Heaven opened your senses, and now you can't ignore what's spiritually loud, even if it's naturally silent. You've tried to make excuses. You've tried to keep the peace. You've told yourself it's just you. What it isn't. You're not being too dramatic. You're not being ungracious. You're not being suspicious. You're being trained. You're being told, trust what you felt, not what you saw. Because the shadow didn't lie. The light exposed their intention for just a second. and heaven made sure you saw it. Let this discomfort do its holy work. Let the unrest lead you to clarity. Don't dismiss what the Spirit is surfacing. Don't gaslight your own gift. You are discerning by design. Your sensitivity is sacred. And right now, the emotional disturbance you're feeling is not to harm you, but to heal your view of the people around you. Don't be distracted by polished words or practiced empathy. The truth is always in the energy. The truth is always in the hesitation. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more prophetic insights, spiritual guidance, and divine confirmations. Your spirit will be fed regularly here. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1444 is active over your life now. This is not about them. It's about the light inside of you that disturbs what they've been hiding. This is not about hurt feelings or misunderstandings. This is about spiritual war. You're not just being tested by people, you're being observed by principalities. This isn't personal. It's prophetic. They aren't reacting to your personality. They're reacting to your presence. Because your presence now carries weight. It carries fire. It carries frequency. And the moment you walk into a room, everything unclean gets nervous. You were chosen for more than emotional survival. You were called into the battlefield of spirit, where masks are stripped and motives are judged. Heaven does not guess. Heaven sees. And the eyes of the Lord are always upon you. Nothing escapes the Spirit. Not their envy. Not their mimicry. Not their attempts to downplay you. A Spirit saw you all. And now you must understand. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy. The spiritual unrest you feel is confirmation. You're being tested not because you're weak, but because you're carrying something weighty. Your light is confronting shadows they've learned to live with. Your growth is unsettling their stagnation. Your silence is louder than their words, and your discernment is louder than their noise. Envy wears a friendly face. Jealousy offers fake applause. Betrayal claps with both hands while watching for the perfect moment to strike. And this is why your soul hath been so disturbed. Because you're not just sensing emotions, you're sensing intentions. You're not just picking up moods, you're catching spiritual frequencies. You've moved beyond natural awareness. You've become spiritually dangerous to the enemy's plans. They know what you're becoming. They may not say it. They may never admit it. But they feel it. Every time you show up in peace, it confronts their chaos. Every time you worship, it disrupts their control. Every time you remain calm while they stir confusion, it reveals who really has the power. They can't manipulate what heaven has sealed. You must frame this directly now. This is not about revenge. This is about revelation. This is not a time to explain yourself to those who refuse to understand. This is a time to see the bigger picture. Heaven is showing you what can no longer be attached to your next level. Heaven is revealing what has been riding your presence without reverence. This isn't about being offended. This is about being refined. This is about being awakened to the truth that you've outgrown certain spiritual frequencies. You can't align with what you've been anointed to overcome. You can't hold hands with those who hide daggers behind their backs. And God will not allow you to stay connected to what secretly curses your name when you're not around. It hurts to realize the war was never about your character. It was about your calling. It stings to know that the conflict isn't personal. It's spiritual. But it's necessary, because without this revelation, you would have kept trusting what heaven was warning you about. So shift your mind. This is not just conflict. This is calibration. This is not a setback. This is spiritual separation. This is God saying, they can't go with you. Not because you hate them, but because you've been chosen. And chosen ones can't always walk with the crowd. Let the light offend them. Let the truth disturb them. Let your growth reveal their masks. Because in this season, heaven is purging your circle and purifying your sight. Don't mourn the exposure. Rejoice in the clarity. You are not losing allies. You are shedding illusions. And heaven is watching. And heaven is pleased. Type I am divinely aligned in the comments. Blessing code 1555 is opening doors of spiritual clarity now. The air is thick now. Can you feel it? Something is shifting. Something is stirring beneath the surface of what they pretend is peace. But peace built on pretense always cracks. The mask is slipping. It's subtle, but it's happening. Within 72 hours, you will see it. Within 72 hours, their carefully rehearsed performance will falter. The smirk will fade. The words will tremble. The presence will betray them. And heaven will allow you to witness the beginning of their exposure. This is not for your revenge. This is for your readiness. You must not be caught off guard. Heaven does not send warnings to the unchosen, only to those whose discernment is weaponized. Archangel Michael is pacing the threshold, sword sheathed but ready. Because when truth begins to surface, the spirit realm becomes volatile. And you, beloved, are in the eye of it. Your stillness has been training. Your silence has been armor. But now, you must become spiritually alert. They are plotting while pretending. They are crafting chaos while maintaining a mask of concern. They are maneuvering behind doors, feigning empathy while feeding envy. But the clouds are gathering, and spiritual weather never lies. The atmosphere around you has already shifted. Conversations have grown colder. Glances have become sharper. Messages feel different now, empty, careful, cautious. Do not ignore these signals. Do not brush off your unease. Your soul is reading what your mind still hesitates to accept. The Lord says, I have shown you glimpses. I have sent the shitter. I have allowed their spirit to brush against yours so that you could feel the contrast. They cannot sustain their mask much longer. They cannot hide behind their charm forever. And when the moment comes, it will not be with drama or exposure. It will be with divine clarity. A conversation, a gesture, a word misplaced, and it will all unravel. The false peace will collapse under the weight of truth. Heaven will allow the unraveling because it is part of your release. Don't react. Don't engage. Don't retaliate. This next move is not yours. It's heaven's. What they think is control is only delay. But God's timeline is never late. This delay has been divine. You needed to see their heart before you committed any deeper. You needed to feel the friction before you gave away your trust. Now, the revelation will confirm everything your spirit already knew. You've been tested in silence. You've been forced to watch without speaking. You've been walking through rooms where your spirit was disturbed but your lips were sealed. And now, the pressure is intensifying. Not to break you, but to expose them. What they meant as pressure for you will become proof for you. Proof that you were never paranoid, only prophetic. Watch the spiritual barometer. The clouds are coming. The tension is rising. The distractions are intensifying. This is spiritual weather. The storm is not to destroy you. It's to sweep away the false coverings. Archangel Michael is stationed, and he is not moving until this is complete. You are not alone. You are not exposed. You are protected. Remember, you are not watching for vengeance. You are watching for vindication. You are not meant to strike. You are meant to stand. Because when the curtain falls, and when the silence ends, and when the shadows flee, the truth will walk in like lightning. And you will stand still, and you will be at peace. And heaven will say, "Now they know what I've always seen." Type "I am prepared" in the comments if this confirms what you've been feeling. Blessing code 1221 is active over your clarity now. Be still now. Be very still. The war is not yours this time. You are not required to fight in this battle, not with your hands, not with your voice, not with your emotions. This is a spiritual war, and silence is your strongest weapon. Stillness is your shield. Heaven is moving, but it moves when you rest. It moves when you step back and trust the divine orchestration already in motion. You are not retreating, you are repositioning. You are not silent because you are weak, you are silent because you are wise. Withdraw for a while. Step back in prayer. Let your absence speak more loudly than your arguments. The ones who underestimated your spirit will be shocked by your stillness. Because when heaven holds you still, it's not rejection, it's preservation. You are being hidden, cloaked in obedience, shielded by surrender. The ones who thought they had access to you will start to feel the void. They will reach for what God has now protected. They will speak to a version of you that no longer responds the same way. This is your divine strategy now. Do not explain what heaven is exposing. Do not clarify what the Spirit has already confirmed. You are not accountable to prove your purity to those committed to misunderstanding you. Your proof will be your peace. Your vindication will be your elevation. And your confirmation will come without confrontation. Your silence is sacred. Say this to yourself: I am protected. I am not deceived. I am hidden in the hand of God. Let these words form a boundary around your mind. Let them become your war cry in the quiet. Every time doubt tries to invade, remind yourself, heaven is working while I am waiting. Heaven is protecting while I am pausing. Stillness is not passivity. It's warfare in disguise. Stillness is how warriors prepare. Stillness is how prophets receive. Stillness is how the chosen ones carry presence without spilling power. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to respond to every false accusation. You don't need to match their chaos. What you need is to stay low, stay silent, and stay near to God. Because this battle is already shifting. This storm is already breaking. And when it passes, you will still be standing, not because you fought harder, but because you obeyed deeper. Heaven responds to obedience. Archangel Michael defends obedience. And right now, your obedience to stillness is your most violent act of spiritual resistance. You are not powerless. You are postured. You are not vulnerable. You are hidden in the shadow of the Almighty. And no weapon, spoken, written, whispered low plan will prosper. Why? Because your defense is divine. Your silence is holy. Your peace is proof of heaven's priority over your life. Do not be baited. Do not be triggered. Do not be drawn into battles beneath your calling. Let them speak. Let them scheme. Let them wonder. Let you stay still. Stay close to God. Stay armored in quiet strength, because heaven's judgment is more final than their gossip. Heaven's hand is more forceful than their manipulation. Rest now. You've seen enough. You've felt enough. You've endured enough. Now watch the Lord work. Watch the defense unfold. Watch the exposure rise. And remain at peace, because the ones who play innocent will not escape heaven's justice. And you will be kept. You will be strengthened. You will be protected as the wind shifts and the mask falls. Type I am hidden in God in the comments. Blessing code 3003 is now surrounding your spirit with divine safety. Now that you've seen what they tried to hide, now that the shadow behind their smile has been revealed, it's time to shift. It's time to break out of the shell of survival and stand in the firelight of your transformation. You are not the same, and they can feel it. That's what's unsettling them. That's why they whisper. That's why they monitor you in silence. You're not who you were, and your growth is loud, even when your mouth says nothing. They don't know you now. And that's the divine mystery of what God has done within you. He didn't need to make an announcement. He didn't ask for permission. While they were busy underestimating you, He was busy upgrading you. They were mocking your silence, unaware that you were being remade. Heaven was shaping a storm walker while they tried to box you in their comfort zone. And now you've changed dimensions, and they can't reach you anymore. This isn't just about overcoming pain. This is about transcending it. You were made to transform in the fire, not die in it. You were never designed to break down under pressure. You were called to evolve through it. What looked like abandonment was actually a promotion. What looked like betrayal was divine redirection. God used it all, the whispers, the glances, the cold stares, the lonely nights, and turned it into fuel. Every ounce of their doubt has become evidence of your elevation. You're rising. Not because of revenge, not because of pride, but because you've aligned with who you truly are. And your strength now unsettles those who were comfortable with your weakness. They liked you better when you were second-guessing yourself. They preferred you when you were apologizing for your presence, diluting your discernment, and over-explaining your sensitivity. But that version of you has been buried under the weight of experience. And what stands now is a warrior, a phoenix, a vessel of fire. You are walking proof that silence can shape storms, that obedience can unlock new dimensions, that resilience doesn't need an audience. And though you never asked to be this strong, here you are, standing in the aftermath of their betrayal, crowned with insight, robed in discernment, anointed with fire. They can't understand you now, because you stopped trying to be understood, and that's where your power was born. You don't have to prove anything anymore. Your peace is the proof. Your clarity is the confirmation. Your discernment is your defense. You're no longer playing their game. You've outgrown their stage, and that's why they are confused. That's why the energy shifted. Because when you stopped needing their validation, heaven started showing you your value. You're not bitter. You're built different now. You're not angry. You're aware. You're not afraid. You're armored. You don't need the crowd. You carry the cloud. The presence of God walks with you, and your very being shifts atmospheres. When you enter the room, every unclean thing trembles. Every lie recoils. Every mask feels threatened. That's why they can't look you in the eye anymore. That's why their greetings are shallow. They know. Even if they never say it, they know. And you don't need them to say it. You already heard it in the spirit. You already saw it in the dream. You already felt it in the silence. You've been empowered by exposure. You've been promoted by pressure. The fire didn't destroy you, it forged you. And now, you stand not as a victim of their schemes, but as a vessel of divine vengeance. You are no longer triggered. You are trained. You are no longer seeking approval. You are serving purpose. This is your empowerment. This is your rising. You were made for this moment. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Let them sit in their confusion. You don't owe them your voice anymore. You are the shift. You are the sword. You are the storm. Type I am rising in the comments. Blessing code 9111 is unlocking divine empowerment in you now. And now the heavens speak plainly. This trial was timed. This confrontation, this unveiling, this unrest, it was never about punishment. It was always about promotion. The pain was a prophecy. The betrayal was a blueprint. The spiritual disruption you've endured was heaven's way of upgrading your access. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. You are not being pushed out, you are being pulled up. And now, the reason becomes clear. They didn't fool heaven. For one moment. Their mask may have convinced the crowd, but heaven saw the motives. Archangel Michael saw the lingering shadow. He saw the spirit behind the smile. And heaven didn't just watch, heaven allowed it. Not to crush you, but to reveal what couldn't go into your next chapter. The trial was permission. The betrayal was divine filter. What felt like delay was a disguised launch. This was never about them. It was always about unlocking hidden access in you. You needed to be broken open to release what was dormant. You needed to be pulled away so you could see clearly. The friction revealed the fire. The opposition exposed your authority. You were never just surviving a storm. You were becoming the storm's command. Heaven knows your name. You are not forgotten. You are not a background player in someone else's story. You are the assignment. You are the mission. When you were weeping, angels were recording. When you were doubting, heaven was deciding. When you couldn't pray, groanings were translated into power. You were never alone. You were being watched, covered, and carved into a vessel of glory. The prophetic reward is already moving. You've crossed over spiritually, even if nothing looks different yet. Don't be deceived by appearances. You've already outgrown the environment that tried to contain you. Your next level has been triggered in the spirit, and everything around you will begin to align with that shift. Open doors will surprise you. Favor will chase you down. The same mouths that question you will be silenced by what heaven does next. You carry a crown, and this crown costs. The attacks were the price. The sleepless nights were the price. The isolation, the internal war, the discomfort, it was all part of the preparation. Heaven crowns the Christ. Heaven elevates the misunderstood. The pain was not pointless. It was permission to enter the place your name has already been spoken in the courts of heaven. This is not just your upgrade. It's your unveiling. This is not just confirmation. It's coronation. You've been quiet long enough. You've been faithful through the furnace. And now, you're stepping into the reason. The divine reason. The sacred reason. The prophetic promise that whispered, "Hold on. It's coming." You are known. You are named. You are needed. And heaven has set the stage. If this word confirms what your spirit already sensed, consider supporting this mission through a super chat or super thanks. Any amount up to $20 makes a difference and helps us continue sharing these divine messages. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, You can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for ongoing prophetic content, spirit-led insights, and encouragement to guide your walk. This is your home of clarity. Type "I received the upgrade" in the comments. Blessing code 8822 is now releasing divine promotions in your favor. Now is the hour to rise with intention. Not quietly, not timidly, but with sacred boldness. Say yes to who you're becoming. The time for shrinking has expired. The moment of second guessing is over. Heaven has already confirmed what you've been carrying. Now it's your turn to activate it. You were not awakened to remain idle. You were not exposed to truth just to sit in fear. You were called. You were marked. And now, you must move. Speak it aloud. I release false alignments now. No more walking with those who could not discern your worth. No more clinging to connections that diluted your power. No more waiting for validation from those who never saw you. This is a season of divine activation, and your obedience is the ignition. Every step forward is a sword. Every decision in truth is a declaration in the heavens. As you move, angels move. As you align, atmospheres adjust. As you obey, portals unlock. Heaven moves when you do. You are not waiting for another sign. You are not waiting for another confirmation. The confirmation already came, in the whispers, in the warfare, in the way your spirit felt unsettled around those pretending to be safe. That was heaven warning you, training you, awakening you. And now, take the step. Declare it. Live it. Walk in it. No more hinting for shadows. You were never made to bend around betrayal or tiptoe around truth. You are a breaker of cycles. You are a disruptor of generational patterns. You are a voice rising from the fire, and you carry a sound that commands spiritual atmospheres. You must understand, every time you delay, you empower the deception. Every time you doubt your discernment, you dishonor the divine gift within you. This is your season to move in truth, not just in emotion, not just in reaction, but in revelation. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. Courage is obedience in the presence of fear. Destiny doesn't wait for comfort, it demands commitment. You're not being asked to have it all figured out. You're being asked to say yes. Say yes to the next step. Say yes to the call you feel but cannot yet define. Say yes to the separation from what no longer carries your frequency. Say yes to the future God has already aligned. You don't need all the answers. You need agreement. The heavens respond to your agreement. The angels respond to your posture. When your mouth declares alignment, your environment follows suit. Stop entertaining counterfeit peace. Stop negotiating with delay. Stop overanalyzing your gift to please the insecure. You are chosen. You are required. And your yes is holy. The same spirit that nudged you when the deception was near is now nudging you to move forward. You were not revealed to sit still. You were not uncovered to remain hidden. Destiny has found you. Heaven has exposed the blockage. Now comes your response. Rise, not just in posture, but in purpose. Rise in clarity. Rise in courage. Rise in consecration. This isn't just about leaving behind people. It's about leaving behind patterns. Patterns of hesitation. Patterns of overthinking. Pattern of people plead to. It all ends now. You are moving forward with fire in your mouth and revelation in your bones. Your next step will be met with angelic activity. Your next word will carry authority. You're no longer guessing. You're flowing. This is your moment of holy rebellion. You are rebelling against fear, against compromise, against every lie that told you to stay small. You are not small. You never were. You were born to shift atmospheres. You were born to interrupt generational darkness. You were born to carry light into spaces where silence once reigned. Say yes. Declare it out loud. The Spirit is listening. Heaven is recording. And once you declare it, the shift begins. Type "I say yes to destiny" in the comments. Blessing code 5050 is now unlocking paths hidden until your obedience. Lift the veil, chosen one. There's more happening than what meets the eye. While the world slumbers, heaven negotiates. While you cry silently into your pillow, angels document every tear. While you wrestle with emotions you don't even have language for, Archangel Michael has been dispatching divine reinforcements. What they stole is already returning. What they tried to tamper with in the spirit has already been restored by a greater hand. You were never losing. You were being repositioned for a silent exchange. You didn't imagine the weight you felt at midnight. You didn't dream the warning. That restlessness in your soul was not anxiety. It was spiritual insight colliding with divine movement. Your spirit already knew what your mouth could not speak. Something sacred was being negotiated on your behalf. The conversations you didn't hear, the spiritual dealings you couldn't see, were not imagined. You were not crazy. You were connected. While they plotted, heaven planned. While they whispered, heaven wrote. While they lingered in your shadow, heaven marked your light. There hath been an exchange, silent but powerful. What was taken from you unjustly is returning in doubled measure. What they cursed in secret is now becoming your crown. What they thought would delay you has now accelerated you. The Holy Spirit moved, and the enemy couldn't intercept it. Because spiritual justice happens before earthly resolution. Understand this. Their action stirred heaven's hand. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a trigger in the spirit. When the chosen are wronged, heaven moves swiftly. It may feel slow in the natural, but in the spirit realm, things shifted instantly. Every lie, every manipulation, every attempt to minimize your voice, it all became evidence in the courts of heaven. And heaven ruled in your favor. You didn't have to fight. You didn't even have to plead. Your purity pleaded for you. Your obedience testified on your behalf. The tears you cried became incense on the altar. And heaven answered. Do not be surprised when favor begins to follow you in strange ways. Do not be shocked when doors open that you never knocked on. This is the result of the silent exchange. You sowed in pain, but you will reap in presence. You endured in silence, but you will rise in strength. Because when you cried, angels were dispatched. When you surrendered, the Spirit sealed it. When you said, not my will but yours, the exchange was complete. You were never overlooked. You were observed. You were never forgotten. You were recorded. And now, justice is unfolding, not loud, not vengeful, but divine. Let them wonder. Let them assume. You owe no explanations. Because you know what took place at midnight. You know the weight that lifted when you said yes to letting go. That was the moment the scales tipped. That was the moment the shift began. You don't need to go back and rehash the pain. You don't need to relive the betrayal. You need only to step into what was returned. Peace is returning. Power is returning. Position is returning. And not because you forced it, but because heaven honored it. You traded your frustration for fire. You laid down your offense and picked up your oil. And now, the Spirit of God walks with you, in fullness, in clarity, in completion. The enemy never had the final word. They never had the final plan. God was always orchestrating around the noise. You were never behind. You were in divine timing. And now, your life becomes the testimony. The exchange was done in silence, but the reward will be seen openly. Type "I claim my divine exchange" in the comments. Blessing code 7337 has just activated divine return over all you lost. Justice is not delayed. Justice is in motion. Though the eyes of man may not yet perceive it, the courts of heaven have already rendered a verdict. What they thought would be buried under smiles and social civility has been laid bare before the throne of God. The spiritual scales have been balanced, and the sword of truth has been drawn. The smile they used to disguise their shadow, heaven saw past it. The false peace they manufactured, heaven pierced through it. The stage is already set for reversal. They laughed while you cried. They plotted while you prayed. They wore innocence like a mask, but Archangel Michael saw the tremble in their shadow. And now, the tremble is growing. Their Foscon is cratting. Their secret intentions are becoming spiritual pressure in their own camp. You don't have to lift a hand. You don't have to say a word. The divine reversal is underway. This is not emotional retaliation. This is not fleshly revenge. This is spiritual order being restored. This is the kingdom of heaven avenging what was done to the anointed. God balances what man tried to bend. You've been stretched, but you weren't broken. You've been bruised, but you weren't buried. You've been silenced by others, but you were never silenced by heaven. And now, the Lord steps in, not just as your comforter, but as your defender. This is the moment where spiritual compensation begins to unfold, where what was spoken in darkness is reversed by what heaven speaks in light, where what was stolen is returned sevenfold, where what was meant for harm begins to fuel your next elevation. They didn't just come for your peace, they came for your purpose. But heaven is turning the very attack into your advancement. The thing that was designed to discredit you is now marking you. You have become heaven's proof that purity has power. You have become a living testimony that God watches over those who trust Him, even in silence. Your restraint has become your roar. Your stillness has become your sword. And now, justice breathes. Don't bloat. Don't seek their downfall. This is holy ground now. Stand still and witness the salvation of the Lord. As the plans formed in darkness unravel without warning, know this: you are not celebrating destruction. You are witnessing divine restoration. Every false narrative, every misjudged assumption, every spiritual arrow, they are being reversed and returned to sender. And what the enemy meant for shame, God is converting into double honor. The anointing on your life demanded opposition. The light you carry threatened their comfort. And the assignment on your name couldn't be carried by someone passive. That's why you had to walk through this. That's why you had to feel the weight of betrayal. Because now, what's being reversed is not just emotional pain, it's spiritual positioning. You are being raised up as a vessel of divine justice. Don't be surprised when their conversations grow strained. Don't be confused when they pull away without explanation. They feel the shift. They feel the reversal. And they don't know how to face someone who's been touched by fire and came out glowing. Let them retreat. Let them question. But you, stand firm. Because what's coming next is a wave of recompense. Restoration in places you forgot you were wronged. Healing in places you didn't know were wounded. Favor in places they said you'd never walk. The Lord says, I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. This is not vengeance, it's visibility. He is making your rise undeniable. He is causing your light to speak louder than their lies. And he is doing it not just for you, but through you. You are the divine reversal in human form. You are the answer to the pain. You are the evidence of grace. Let justice move through the wind. Let reversal shake the rooms you no longer walk in. Let the same eyes that misjudge you now witness your transformation. And above all, stay humble, because the same God who lifts you in private will also establish you in public. If this message has confirmed what your spirit has already seen, consider supporting our mission by sending a super thanks or super sticker. Your $5 or $10 gift helps us bring more of these prophetic revelations to life. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe. This channel is your sacred space for confirmation, activation, and divine wisdom. Let your spirit be nurtured in this prophetic tribe. Type I receive divine justice in the comments. Blessing code 8181 is now releasing divine reversal into every area of your life. You saw it, and you didn't imagine it. You heard what wasn't said, and your spirit confirmed what the surface denied. They played innocent, but heaven revealed the shadow. They masked their intentions, but the weight of their energy couldn't lie. And now, heaven wants you to know, you weren't wrong. You were delusional. You were discerning. You saw correctly. This final word comes not just as affirmation, but as a blessing. You've been through the fire of deception and came out refined. You faced false peace and stood your ground in silence. You've walked through emotional distortion and kept your posture in prayer. And now may clarity be your portion. May courage become your rhythm. And may calm settle deep in your bones like an unshakable truth. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Sent to walk in boldness. Sent to carry wisdom. Sent to shift the atmosphere around you. Let this word echo in your heart. You have passed the test. You were faithful in silence. You were obedient in the waiting. You did not betray your own discernment. Because of that, heaven is moving things in your favor. The unseen battles are now tipping in your direction. The places of confusion are now being filled with clarity. And the masks around you are continuing to fall. This is your release. This is your confirmation. This is your divine seal. You don't have to search anymore. You don't have to second guess anymore. You are aligned. You are covered. You are chosen. So rise, chosen one. Not in arrogance, but in assurance. Rise not in fear, but in fire. Rise with discernment in your eyes and peace in your hands. You've been prepared for such a time as this. Heaven has already spoken. The angels are already in position. Your name is known in heavenly places. Your oil is real. Your calling is intact. Let no shadow threaten your truth. Let no false smile distract your purpose. Walk boldly into the rooms you once tiptoed through. Speak with authority where you were once silent. Carry the presence of God like a robe, like armor, like breath. This chapter is complete, and the next has already begun. Type I am walking in truth in the comments. Final blessing code 0007 is now covering you in full circle peace.